YouTubers? Rich here from 2RC Productions. You know, one thing we have not talked about yet is the new addition to the family. I posted on Facebook, posted on Instagram, but never did a video on this. Make a long story short, my wife Megan has been wanting a Jeep since probably the mid-90s, and it never panned out, and then we ended up getting married and stuff. Other things come up, and so on and so on. You guys know the story, how things go. Kids take priority, you know, you got to get a house, you got to get more of the important things. But anyway, we've been talking about this for the past few years, seriously, about looking into one. And the values are not dropping at all. They're getting more and more expensive every year. So we decided to make a move this year, and I traded in a PT Cruiser and secured a 2003 Jeep Wrangler X TJ black with the 4.0 in it. Engine is completely stock, hasn't been touched. 85,000 original miles on it. The truck does have some imperfections. It's got some little bit of rust starting around the hinges and stuff like that, which I'll be taking care of. And it's got a blister on the back right side next to the hatch. But the rest of the truck is in excellent condition. I buffed it out once already. It shines really nice. I cleaned under the hood, did some detailing. It's got, you know, some surface rust in certain spots, and all this is going to be redone. I'm going to be repainting this. I'm going to work on this truck like I did the Bullet, and over a period of a few years, it will be like new. The good thing about it is, it's, like I said, it's pretty much untouched, and it is a solid truck for the most part. The undercarriage is beautiful. It's got normal surface rust on the rear end and drive shafts and stuff, but the frame is completely solid. You could still see primer on the floorboards and stuff in a lot of the spots. And this is a Midwest truck. It was a one owner owned by a woman. So anyway, you can see the bumpers and everything. Everything is extremely clean. I painted the Jeep red recently, and it came with the KC fog lights. I painted the KC red. They were white before. The TJ ushered in the round headlights, brought back the round headlights from the YJ, which had the square headlights. I love this front end. I think it's very reminiscent of the old school Jeep. And what I love about this particular era of Jeep is, one, it was the last generation to house the AMC 4.0 inline 6, which is an amazing power plant. I had a Jeep Cherokee years back, and I had almost 300,000 on it, and the motor still ran like a clock and did not burn any oil. So this engine is fantastic. Number two is the return of the round headlights, like I said, which I love. And number three, this is the last of this body style. Then they went to the larger body style, like the newer ones. This is the last of the old school Jeep, reminiscent of the CJs, you know, back in the 80s. The other thing that they did do from the YJ with the square headlights to the TJ is they updated the dash and gauges. And I remember at the time that being a really cool thing, because I really liked the upgrade in the dash and everything way back when. So they did change that, and you could see the interior and everything is in excellent shape. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the interior. It's beautiful, front and back, excellent shape. The roll bars, all the padding, everything looks great. Door panels, great. Doors, you can see the old school Jeep like this had the old school handles, which they've used since probably the 60s. Some of you Jeep people out there might know the exact year when they started this, but I mean, this is going way back. They still use those. The other thing I like about it, you know, everybody's quick to change and upgrade everything on the Jeeps, and I do like the aftermarket. It's like the Mustangs where they have all kinds of stuff that you can buy, but this Jeep had the factory Chrysler Jeep wheels, which we have no intentions of getting rid of. I'm not going to change them and put something else on them. I think the chrome factory wheels look awesome. They put 31s on it at the dealer where we bought it because the old tires were shot. So the tires are brand new. We put the chrome trim around the filler cap, and we added the grab bars on the side roll bar, and that's all we've done as far as outer. We put a spare tire cover we ordered because it didn't have one of those. But you see, the Jeep is clean. But anyway, I just wanted to pan around it a little bit just to give you guys an overview of what we purchased, because nobody's really seen it on YouTube because we haven't posted on it. Engine-wise, typical 85,000 mile car, which is very low for this engine, very low for a lot of the Jeeps that you're going to find out there. They're getting harder and harder to find, like I said. And what we did was normal maintenance so far. They changed the air filter dealer. They changed the oil, which I'm going to be changing the oil again. This light here was completely missing. So we ordered that. I got that working. See, I just unplug it when I'm out, you know, when I have the hood up, so it's not on all the time. But anyway, added the light for the underhood. We changed the antifreeze, put brand new antifreeze in it, flushed the radiator, flushed the block, new thermostat and thermostat housing, new upper and lower hose, new radiator or upper and lower radiator hoses, heater hoses, new breather hose, new spark plugs, and I'm trying to think. I think that new serpentine belt as well. And then the problem with the Jeep was the handling. It was very unpredictable driving. It didn't feel to me like it had a lot of slop in the front end. The alignment looks really good. I don't feel any slop in the front end. I mean, to be expected, it's 85,000 miles, so there'll be a little bit in there, obviously, but nothing outside of the normal realm. When you turn the wheel, you'd feel, you'd see the tires immediately reacting, not like you turn the wheel 3/4 of a turn and then the tires start to go. But it was very windery on the road. Very windery. And my wife was like afraid to drive it because anything over like 40 miles an hour, she felt like she didn't have control of it. So I started looking around a little bit and I'm like, you know what? It's got original shocks on it. And I started pressing on them and I'm like, they're bouncing, 3-4 times after you're done. And I'm not familiar with a Jeep Wrangler because this is the first one we've had. But I was like, I almost guarantee it's the shocks. You go to turn a little bit and then the body is, swaying back and forth and it's giving you a unpredictable feel and not handling right. So, which leads us into the next point of this video. So the reason that I'm filming this now, I wanted to film this, probably a couple months ago, but never did. But this is a perfect opportunity to lead into this. So I want to do a shock replacement. We were going to do a 2-inch lift on it, which you have to have the shocks too for the lift. And we're going to order the kit, and we've been talking about it and looking at different ones. We're going to raise it. And the other day, she was talking about how she'd really like to start driving it, but she's worried about it. And I was off on the 4th of July, and we had nothing going. So I said, you know what? Why don't we just go pick up some shocks for the thing? If we don't get it lifted this year, we could, get it lifted next year or whatever. There's no major hurry. We're going to have the Jeep for a long time. And I don't mind the stance of it. It's actually pretty high as it is, sitting stock with the 31s. She wants to put the side step bars on it, which we haven't done yet. So to me, it's fine right where it's at. And she likes the way it looks. So I went and picked up some shocks. Now, shocks can be a very easy thing to change if they come off nice. Well, again, a truck in the Midwest, it's not a rust bucket, but all the bolts, hardware still exposed to probably some rain, possibly some salt. I don't know how much they drove it in the winter, but of course, it was a pain. And just to show you, you can get a little glimpse. I bought some Gabriel Ultra shocks for it. They're white in color. They look nice. The fronts, top bolts would not come loose. I had to cut them off with a Sawzall. The bottoms I was able to get out. So the fronts went really well. That went nice. The backs, not so nice. So I'm just thinking I'm doing a routine shock change here. And then it turns out, once I get into it, and the first one went really bad, then I realized that this is a common problem with the Jeep TJ because it was a horrible design from Chrysler to tuck square nuts up in the frame where you can't get to them and weld them in. So the first 2 bolts snapped right away, and I spent some effort working on that. That didn't work out too good. I tried regular drill. I couldn't get the drill in there far enough to drill them. So I had another idea to use a hammer drill, and I just wanted to recap, give you a little pre-story to what happened. And the next portion of the video is when I was actually working on it and explaining, and we're going to kind of go ahead and then back. Because today it is Sunday, and yesterday I finished working on it. And we took it out today and put about probably 65 miles or so on the truck. We took a nice ride. Went out to my in-laws. They got a family farm out there. There's no house or nothing left, but they still have property there with a wind turbine on the property. And my father-in-law has 40 acres left out there that's leased. They farm it. And we thought, let's take a run out there. And the truck performed amazingly better, like 90% better. I mean, it's still a Jeep. It bounces, it's a rough ride. But now the steering is very predictable. It handles the way it should. My wife took it for a ride. She feels much more comfortable. Now you're not having your, the death grip at 10 and 2 in case it, it starts to get a little windery and you want to recover. Now you can have your fingertip resting on the wheel. It drives straight, acting the way it should. So we got the engine running really, really nice. Now we did fuel injector cleaner too on top of that. I cleaned the throttle body out. I didn't mention that. We got the engine running really, really nice. It's running cool. It's running smooth. And then pretty much next up is going to be all the fluids. We're going to do front and rear diff, transfer case, and transmission. Get all brand new fluids going in there. I'm going to cycle out the power steering fluid, cycle out the brake fluid, and then we can center on some of our cosmetic mods. And what I would really like to do is not do too much of the bolt-on gaudy things. We're going to put some Nerf bars on it, like I said, the side step bars. We're going to put a bikini top on top, I think one of those mesh ones to cover the top when the soft top is down. And I think what we're going to do, we were talking about it, is just take this into Gonzo at some point. It's my body guy. And let him go over the whole body and fix the blister on the back. Take care of the little rust that's blistering around the window frame. It's all minor. It's small. There's no holes or anything. Now is the time to attack it. The truck will not be exposed to salt anymore. And 98% of the time will not be exposed to rain unless we get stuck in the rain. This truck is going to be specifically for a nice day cruiser, for the wife and myself as a family, to take it out and have fun. And after we get the body done and stuff too, we'd like to do some shows and cruises with it. I'll take the Bullet, she'll take this. So anyway, YouTubers, we'll get on in the next phase of this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for checking out our new 2003 Wrangler X TJ model, old school Jeep, the last of the old school Jeeps. Just a absolute blast to drive. I never thought I would enjoy it as much as I do, but it is so fun driving this truck. So, all right, YouTubers, thanks for watching. Rich from 2RC Productions here. We got a project going on, the Jeep TJ, and I feel that when I run into a situation, sometimes I'll just do jobs and I don't film everything, but this definitely needed to be talked about. Needed to change the shocks because the handling was less than stellar on this thing. It was very bouncy. Original shocks at 85,000 miles. Last week I attempted the fronts, or not last week, the other day actually, the 4th of July. It's the 6th today. And what happened was I changed the fronts. They were seized up. I was able to cut them loose, get rid of them, put the fronts on. That went really well. And then I got to the back driver's side, and both bolts, mounting bolts underneath the vehicle snapped. Then I started looking on forums and saw that it was a common problem. People dropping the gas tank, raising the body off the frame, all this kind of stuff, and cut off wheels and everything else. And I did not want to drop the gas tank for 2 reasons. I didn't want to mess with it on top of everything else. If you can limit the amount of work, the better. Number 2 is I just filled the gas tank the other day, so it's full of gas. So after trying to drill the other day with regular twist drills and not being successful, I was trying to think of another plan. So what I ended up doing was, on the bottom of this thing, and those of you that have TJs will know, a bolt threads into a welded square nut in the frame that you can't access. And once the bolt breaks, the nut is stuck in there and you can't get the bolt out. So you either got to drill it out or you got to cut the nut off and start over. I didn't want to cut with the gas tank there. So what I ended up doing to get it was borrowing a hammer drill from work with a masonry bit, 1/4 inch, and then I had to use a 3/8 for a little bit on the other side, but a 1/4 inch bit. I used hammer action on it and drilling and hammer. And the reason I thought of this is at work, when we drill anchors in the ground, a lot of times we run in a rebar and you just got to let it bounce on there and it nibbles away the steel without dulling the bit. So it ended up working. Driver's side was a little tougher. The passenger side went pretty good. And what I ended up doing was putting it on hammer only and digging it in there and hammering on the bolt, and then switching it to drill once I had a little starting point, and then started driving it in there, and it drilled through and it busted both of the blocks off of the frame. So now I'm back to open hole and just gonna put some 5/16 bolts. On that side, the black didn't break away as cleanly, and I used quarters on that side, which is what this factory one was. It was a metric one, but it was about a 1/4 inch diameter. This side I'm going to try to get 5/16 in there because it's a little bit bigger hole and it will fit in the shock. This is a nightmare, and not for the faint of heart. I work on stuff all the time, and this was a pain. It's about 90 degrees out. I've been sweating bullets out here since 7 o'clock. It's about probably 11 now, and I've been on this solid, and I finally got to the point where the holes are cleared, and I'm going to be able to bolt up the second rear shock. The other one is up there. All right, so I'm under the car now, and I'm going to try to shine the light, and hopefully you can see. But basically, if I can get into a good position there, this is a mess. Okay, so you can see the 2 holes. I'm trying to hold the light and everything at once, but I'm shining the, you can see the 2 holes. So basically up inside there is a black, a welded nut threaded, and then the shack fits in that big open hole in the center. So you can't get up there with anything. So what I had to do was fish the bolts in from the top side and drop them through and put the nuts on the bottom with flats, and then get them to lock up from the bottom by tightening the bottoms. So this is a nightmare, but you see with the gas tank is still in place, even with the exhaust pipe in the way, I was able to punch them out and drill them with a masonry bit on a hammer drill, Bosch hammer drill, STS bit. So just wanted to show you guys this if you are going to get into it, so you're aware of it, because when I started changing the shocks, I had no idea it was going to be such a deal. If these bolts would have come loose, this would have been a 20-minute job each side, no problem. But this added on hours and hours of fun to try to get these out. So, all right, YouTubers, just wanted to share this with you. We're going to bolt up this side here, finish up the job, take her for a ride, see how she runs.